Hello everyone, welcome to EduTap and also welcome to another interview that is we are taking under our success series session. And today we have Miss Shivamgi Mishra with us. She has recently cleared RBI Grade B examination of the year 2022, and she is soon to be joining as manager in RBI. So we today we are going to understand all the strategies did she follow for the examination, which is going to help you for your journey and preparation. We are going to also understand about her journey, what are the whatever she faced while she was preparing for examination, so that you can have a connect as an aspirant, that there are so many aspirant and all they share a feeling. So this interview is all about that. So first of all, ma'am, congratulations and welcome to EduTap, and thank you for sharing your views with all the aspirants who are watching it right now.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Thank you.
So, ma'am, first of all, I am sure all the aspirant would want to know about the academic background that you are having, and at what point did you feel like कि नहीं यार अब तो RBI के लिए prepare करना है, and you finally started preparing for that.
Okay. So, ma'am, I have done my BCom from Patna University, and I graduated in 2016. And I started seriously preparing for RBI somewhere around 2021, maybe 2021. We had a lot of time on our hands during the lockdown periods,
True.
and I started preparing seriously for it back then in 2021 only.
So, as you said that you did your graduation way back in 2016, and then you started preparing for
Yes, yes,
RBI 2 years back only, or 1 year back only around.
yes,
So,
yes. Seriously.
during that gap time, were you preparing for other examination, or were you doing a job or anything?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, I'm working in GIC, General Insurance Corporation, and since I already had a job, I was not very serious about my preparations. But due to certain personal reasons, I started. I seriously started preparing for RBI in 2021. Before that, I wasn't that serious.
Right. So it's also it also need confidence when you already have a job, but still you feel like no, you want to achieve higher, and then you prepare for it. Because usually,
Yes,
and this most of the working aspirants, they would connect that they don't get time to prepare for examination, or they feel like they are not able to give that much efforts to examination. But if you feel like you want to be in that organization, you would work hard for that, right?
yes, yes, definitely,
So,
definitely.
so you prepared along with the job only, or did you then took a break from that?
No, 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 no. I was working while I prepared.
Right. So, how is it feel like to be working also and then to prepare also, because time is quite less and you are then competing with the ones who are giving all their time, full time they are preparing for the examination. So, how did you manage that?
Yeah, sure, of course. I mean, time management is an art, especially if you're working, and it becomes a bit difficult at times. But then you need to have that perseverance. You need to have that determination in you that even though things are difficult, somehow you have to manage. You have to take out time for yourself, for your own goals. Sure, having a job is tasking. And it does not at the end of the day you're not left with too much energy, but if you're focused on your goal, you will be able to bring that energy in yourself to for your own progress. So I think it's more about motivation. If you're working, if you're motivated enough, you'll be able to take out time for it.
Right. So, see, as you're from commerce background, and it's kind of a notion in the market that usually the BTech background people and the people who are preparing for UPSC, they have an edge. The BTech background people and the UPSC background people, they have an edge in the examination, and you were competing with them along with your job. So, what you have to say on this regard, that you really feel that okay, so competing with them is really tough and you had to push a lot to for that, or what was your thinking about that?
So ma'am, back when I started preparing, I read somewhere about a student who had actually cleared grade B. So that person had written that it does not matter from which background you are. That person had performed very average throughout his entire student life, and if and that person had written that see, grade B only wants a graduate degree. That's it.
Right,
That is the eligibility. And if you have a graduate degree with 60%, you are eligible. And anything apart from that, people have this notion that you're competing with BTech people and you're competing with UPSC aspirants and uh, all that. I don't think that's relevant. The only thing that's relevant is if you are fulfilling the required criteria of RBI or not. If you are eligible, then all these things are simply irrelevant. It does not matter.
right, true. So now let's talk about phase one of the examination. So in that we have quant reasoning English and the GA general awareness section. And for all we have to clear the minimum cutoff as well. And also there is a overall cutoff that needs to be cleared for phase two. So we'll talk about individually what sources did you prefer. So we'll take two section. One is QRE. We'll take at one go and then we'll understand about how you prepared for GA. So what were the sources did you follow for QRE?
So, ma'am, for QRE, I did not follow any particular source. Firstly, I for prelims, it's very important to give a lot of mocks. So, I started my preparation with giving a few mocks. Once you have given one or two mocks, you are able to identify whatever your weak and strong areas are.
True.
And it's also very important to prepare your own strategy. Like, for example, in my case, I had never studied missing number system, which people usually it's a strong area for most of the aspirants, and I had never studied it. And for me, I thought instead of giving time on learning a completely new topic, I should rather focus on refining or strengthening my already strong areas. So
Right.
yeah, so I did not really start my preparation individually. I simply selected the particular topics which would give me an edge, which would help me clear the prelims, and I prepared for those topics. And for preparation, you can get a lot of material on the internet. There are a lot of videos on YouTube. There are a lot of MCQs on the internet that you can simply Google and start solving.
Right. So for QRE, mostly what you did, you just first gave mock test and looked at that what are your weaker section and your strength. And
Yes,
instead of giving time to the weaker section, because there is a revision that is also required. So instead of
yes, yes,
focusing on the weakness and then working on that, what you did, you kept on increasing your strength basically. You kept on refining that so that you can at least
yes.
you can clear the cutoff.
Yes, exactly, exactly. That's what I did. And it's also, see, uh, you cannot ignore all of your weaker sections.
True.
You have to understand which sections you need to ignore and which sections you need to focus on. Like there were a lot of weak topics for me in QRE, but of course I did not ignore all of them. I only ignored the ones that were completely new to me, which in which I did not have too much experience.
Right.
So so that's what I did.
Right. So that was you followed for quant and reasoning, and for English also you just relied on the mock test only.
Yeah, for English, completely on the mock test.
Right.
English has not been a problem for me, thankfully. So there was no special preparation required for English.
Right. And if we talk about GA, so what were the sources did you follow for that?
Yeah, so one thing that is very good about RBI is even before the notification comes, people start speculating or guessing when the notification is about to come.
Right.
So for 2022, I think the notification came somewhere around March. And but people have started guessing that the notification is going to come right from January. So I started my preparation for GA right from January. I used to read uh, daily current affairs. You can get daily current affairs from. There are a lot of websites actually. You can start reading from any website. So thankfully, that helped me prepare 3 months of GA.
GA. Yeah.
Apart from that, once the notification came, I stopped everything else. I focused simply only on the preparation of prelims, and you need to cover GA from at least 3 to 4 sources. There are a lot of good materials available on internet, and you can select any 3 or 4 websites or any good sources, and you just have to go through them again and again and again, so that it's retained in your mind.
Right, true. So in RBI, usually what happens, a lot of data is asked. It's very data heavy. If we
Mm,
look at the GA questions, so
yeah,
how did you use to make notes? As you said, you prefer 2 3 sources. So was it like you
yes.
just you used to go through the PDFs, or did you make your own notes and you kept on revising them? What did you actually do?
I did not make any notes as such. Of course, again, it depends from person to person. For
Hmm.
me, writing helps me remember very quickly. So, of course, it was not a note making process, but I did used to write any important information in a little notebook that I had. It was not for revision purposes. It was solely for remembering purpose, so
Right.
that it gets retained in my mind. So yeah, of course, I used to do that. I used to note down all important data, uh, and it definitely helped me a lot.
Right. So this you followed for phase one. And
Yes, yes,
yeah, so when the result, it takes usually, I think after 3 4 days, or at least within a week, the result came, right? So for phase two, if we talk about, so did you started preparing for it from the since early only, or first you waited for your phase one result and then you decided ki chalo ab phase one ho gaya and now I have to focus on phase two?
no, 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 no. I think no one should do that. Actually, I think you need to start preparing for phase two very early on. Like for example, in my case, I started preparing for mains right from 2021, mid 2021. I uh, I was solely focused on mains. I had not started preparing for prelims. I was only reading up mains syllabus, and there are a lot of good materials, good coaching materials available online. You can do certain, any aspirant
Hmm.
can do a bit of research and enroll in any good coaching institutes or buy any good institutes material, and just start for it. I think because after prelims, you get hardly a month. I think some 27, 28 days are there, and it's simply not possible to cover such a vast syllabus in such a small amount of time. So
Right.
you need to be prepared beforehand, and those 27, 28 days are to be used only for revision. That's what I did. So it helped me.
Right. So, if we talk about the descriptive answer writing, so this is something that must be new to you, as you have not
Yes,
given any UPSC or other such examination where descriptive writing is required. So,
yes.
how did you prepare for that?
So it's very important to practice a lot before actually entering the examination, because during the exam, there's a time crunch, especially in descriptive writing. You have to write a lot, and if you're not experienced with the time management, if you've not done it before, it becomes a very difficult job during the exam to actually manage the time, because in such a time constrained manner, you have to think of the answer, you have to type so many words, and you have to also uh, manage time in such a way so that you are giving enough time to all the sections.
True.
So I think practice is the key. What I used to do is I had enrolled in a coaching institute's mock test. And also, I used to randomly select any topic, and I used to type out the answers while timing myself, that how much time I'm going to take, and how to actually structure my answers, how much time I can actually give into thinking about the answer. So yeah, you have to practice a lot for that.
Right. So there's one thing that a word limit is there in all
Yes,
the
yes,
question for
yes.
descriptive. So did you follow the word count, or did you relied more on the content, that okay, for my content I'm getting only these much words, so I should suffice in this only. So how did you what approach did you follow for that?
For me, the word count was of more importance rather than content. So, of course, content is also very important, but
Right.
then you need to complete the word count at any rate. You have
Right.
like it's fine if it's instead of 400 words you're writing 350 words, but I don't think it would be advisable to write 200 words where 400 word answer is required.
Right, right. You need to follow that because they've given you certain limit, and they expect that you should have knowledge this much that you can fit to that word count that they have
Yes, yes,
provided. Right.
yes, exactly.
So, as you were saying also that you in this from phase 1 to phase 2 time period, you did a lot of revision. So,
Hmm.
did you focused on some specific topics if we talk about ESI, or did you focus on the current affair
Just
that?
I mean,
Hmm. Yeah, I'm saying,
sorry, ma'am. Please continue.
yeah, for ESI, I'm saying that did you focus on some topics, or you relied more on current affair and current issues, what are there, and then you made certain topics, you selected some topics that, okay, this I need to focus on.
Okay. So, yeah, of course, you need to be very selective. I think all throughout your preparation, you need to be selective. It's simply not possible for anyone to study each and everything. You
True.
need to make a list of all the important topics that you have to focus on. And if you have that much amount of time on your hands, you can then go for the other topics. But since, as I said, I was a working professional, I did not have too much time on my hands. So I only focused on certain important topics. I made a list of topics that I had to focus on, and I only studied for those topics. And thankfully, in the examination, those topics were covered in my preparation. So yeah, I think it's important to be selective in your preparation.
Right. And on what basis did you select those topics?
So I did a bit of research, and also you need to be aware about the current situations,
Hmm.
the current developments in the economy. Uh, so anything that you might feel or the aspirant might feel with that is important, that should be included definitely.
Right. So this
There's
you.
no
Hmm.
there's no set criteria, and like of course if anyone asks about the functions of RBI, it is it's a given thing that it's a very important topic,
Yeah.
so you have to prepare for that. uh, on the other hand, if someone asks about some random topic, some other random topic, then you can segregate that, okay, this might not be that important.
Right. There are some basic topics that is expected from the
Yes, yes,
organization if you are preparing for
definitely.
that. So at least you should be
Yeah, yeah.
prepared for that.
Exactly. At least you should
Mm.
be prepared for that. At least you should be prepared for the any current developments in the economy, any thing of major importance that might be there, and
Mm.
also you should be prepared enough to write 400 or 600 words on it.
True. Right.
Yeah.
So this you followed for ESI and FM. And if you talk about English, so did you just did you practice on it, or you skip it like you said for the phase 1 only?
Yes, now I did not practice too
Mm.
much for English. I actually practiced once or twice only, just for the sake of time management, and I would say it definitely helped me a lot, because even when you're writing English answers, there's a time crunch, and
Right.
unless and until you know how much time is there, it would become a little difficult during the examination to actually manage time, manage your answers, writing your answers within that time.
Right, true. Because it also needs a practice. You'd have a basic
Yes,
understanding
yes.
that how to write. If you're writing an essay, précis, you'll just have a brief understanding कि अच्छा ऐसे ऐसे करना है ये और ये हो जाएगा. So
Yeah,
that
yeah,
that sum ups your phase two journey. And first of all, I want to know that when you cleared phase two, like was it expected or what was your reaction about that?
yeah. Well, it was a bit shocking, I think, but uh, somehow I was expecting it because the questions that had come up in the examination uh, were on the topics that I had prepared.
Right.
There was no section that was totally like off the court for me. So I was expecting it. Of course, it's always a great surprise
Hmm.
to find your roll number in that list.
True.
Uh, yeah. So yeah, of course it was a surprise, but then it was not totally unexpected. My
Yeah.
exam had went well, and I was kind of expecting it.
Right. So then how did you start preparing for interview?
Right. So for interview, of course, the interview topics are quite vast. Some
Yes.
people say that it's very much profile based. Some people say that they ask you very random questions,
Hmm.
and there's a lot of confusion about what to prepare for the interview. So initially, I was also quite confused, but thankfully, I had a lot of time on my hands, about 2.5 months. So, firstly, I started giving mock interviews. And I must say that, in fact, I had enrolled into EduTap's mock interview, and the panel was quite helpful. The panel actually guided me about whatever topics I should study for, and how to improve my answers, how to uh, give better answers and all. Uh, Apart from that, there are a lot of other mock interviews available. I think almost all good coaching institutes give free mock interviews. So I enrolled in almost all of them,
Hmm.
and sorry, and I gave a lot of mock interviews. Apart from that, there are you should again be selective about what you prepare for the interview. Firstly, I prepared for my own profile. Like I studied, I revised actually my own my work. Whatever my
Hmm.
sorry, whatever I work on. Like I'm from an accounts background, so and I'm also working in the account section in GIC. So I prepared for that. I also prepared for my BCom, and after that I started preparing for RBI. So I'm so sorry
No, no
for
issues.
RBI. Yeah, for RBI, the RBI's website is no, just a second.
Yes. So you were
Uh,
saying that you prepared for the profile.
Yes, ma'am. So I prepared from my own profile, and apart from that, I prepared from RBI's website. So for anything related to RBI, I think RBI's website is the like the holy grail. You have to prepare each and everything from the website. And apart from that, of course, you need to be aware about the current developments, whatever is going on in the economy. So I had this habit of reading newspapers. So thankfully, that was not a problem. You also need to develop certain opinions of your own on all the current topics. Uh, and I think, yeah, apart from that, make a list of all the important topics that you think might be asked from you in the
Right.
interview. Like for me, I again revised all of the finance that I had prepared for in mains, and yeah, I think that was all. I don't think I prepared anything extra apart
Right.
from that.
So did they ask you some personal question as well?
Yes, yes. So mostly people say that the interview is very much profile based, but somehow all the transcripts that kept coming in, and even on the day of my interview, many people were asked only HR questions. So I don't think that it's totally not the interview is only knowledge based, or like you have to prepare for certain specific topics, or even that it is only profile based. I think what's more important is the attitude that you're going into the room with,
True.
because the interview panel is there to judge you. They are super senior officers who are very well equipped to know the kind of person that you are, and you need to be confident enough to not hide anything.
Right.
So in my interview, they asked me, the first question that they asked me was if why I had not done my masters. uh, and I gave them the honest reason,
Hmm.
whatever it was. And then from then on, they started asking me certain questions about policy making and basically knowledge based questions. But yeah, they can ask you personal questions as well. In fact, one of my friends was asked a lot of personal questions, and he was even grilled on that. So yeah, they can ask you anything under the sun, basically.
Right. Were you grilled or it was cordial with you?
No, no, no. For me, it was very cordial, very cordial. The interview panel was very encouraging.
All right. And was it like you were not able to answer some of the technical questions?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So for me, they started asking technical questions with some questions about policy making, and of course, I had not studied that. But the interview panel was very cordial. They tried to guide me towards that answer, and they only asked very logical questions, and I gave logical answers to that, and I think that satisfied them. They did not need any technical specifications. Uh,
Right.
they were satisfied with the answers, with the generic logical answers.
Right. And when the finally the result came, and that was a few days before Diwali. So what was
Yeah.
your reaction to that?
Well, I was quite surprised because I was thinking that my interview had not gone very well. But yeah, I was quite surprised, and of course, it was a very happy occasion for me.
Right. So that's about Miss Shivamgi Mishra's journey. She says that for phase one mock test, it is very important. She was selective with the topics. She focused on her strength more rather than just correcting her weakness. There are some topics she definitely focused on, but more on that. She kept on revising for phase one, and that too she says for phase two. You should not wait for your phase one result to start preparing for phase two. That's a big mistake. And she says that that time period you have between phase one and phase two, that is for the thorough revision and to have more and more practice on the descriptive part. And she also suggests to all the aspirants to follow the word count that have been provided, because they expect you to know that much about the particular topic that they have asked you to write on. And for interview, she says to be true to yourself, be prepared for whatever biodata that you have provided with your academic qualification, and about if you are working aspirant, you should be well versed with whatever you are doing. And it's not necessary that only technical questions are asked. They can ask you some personal questions, so you should be prepared for that as well. And she has given a lot of mock tests which built her confidence, and she also got to know about the topics that can be asked in examination. So ma'am, did I missed anything?
No, man, you
Right.
covered everything
Right.
now.
So, ma'am, at the end, do you want to say something to the aspirants who are preparing for RBI?
I think it's very important to make your own strategy. You cannot blindly follow someone else's strategy because that might not necessarily work for you. You need to know what your own strengths and weaknesses are, and you need to work on that.
True. True, because you only know what are your strength and weakness, and then only you can work on that. That's
Yeah,
truly said. So,
yeah.
thank you so much, ma'am, for joining with us, for sharing your journey. And I know this is going to help the aspirant a lot who are in this journey currently, and especially it is a boost for the working aspirants. And and that too who are not from BTech or the UPSC background. That will be a boost to them. So thank you so much, ma'am, for joining with us, and thank you for
Thank
giving
you,
us the
ma'am. Thank you
interview.
so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you for having me.